Mike Meiré, it's fantastic to meet you here at Belgrade Design Week, and thank you for a very engaging talk. Last time I heard you talk was at Dornbracht in Germany a few months ago, where you were on a panel, and you were looking at the past. Then you were looking at what was the last kind of significant kind of design movement, and here we are, kind of future gazing.
Yeah.
What about the present? Where does the present fit in?
Yeah, actually, the past and the future is happening within the present, because this is actually what we have right now. You and me, we just exist right now here. This is all what we have. The past is always a memory, and the future is always based on kind of experience you made, but at the same time you have to let go of those memories as well, otherwise they become a burden. So therefore you have to be very aware of what's happening right now. And I think when you talk about past and you talk about future, in the long run we always talk about the life situation we're just in right now in. And for me, it's not so much like a difference, of course, aesthetically wise. But I like the fact when you just said that Bauhaus movement was so radical at that time. That's why I fall in love with it, because I think I never really used the word future. I was very much interested into the avant-garde. That was very appealing to me, and I think that's why I chose project where I felt this has a kind of an avant-garde touch, as well maybe the aesthetic, because I'm curiously driven always by aesthetics. And through the aesthetic, I stopped doing my research.
And you're the man who's often brought in to apply creative change to a brand or to a particular project. And a quote that stuck with me from your talk is, unless you change tomorrow, it'll be the same as today. What motivates? Do you have a fear maybe of things not changing? Is that what motivates you in terms of?
I have a fear that nothing will change. I think life is evolution. It has to change. Otherwise it becomes boring, too predictable, And this is the situation, because so much is cluttering right now, or that you have all these different creative disciplines which emerge. People are afraid of this instead of celebrating this complexity. I think the time we live in right now, it maybe is very chaotic. I think it was always anyway, but now it's maybe even more, because we realize when we talk a global branding strategy or international, it is really what it says. You got to deal with China, with India, with America, Europe, and it makes it more complex. And I think people are a little afraid of this, because they like to control, and they're always a little afraid, as I said. And I think it needs people or role models who are not afraid, who just have a kind of a trust. And I have to say, I have always this trust. Maybe there is this kind of child in me, So where I think, it's a really nice metaphor actually today. There's this cosmic child, and that what I haven't really said on the stage was, I did 11 years mind design. So I am prepared somehow, I know it's about the energetic, the morphic force field, the chakran, the and all these things, because otherwise you get crazy, because what you have to learn as well is to delete your mind, otherwise it's just an overflow.
Do you think, you've had a long career. You just said before we started talking on film that you've, it's 30 years of work. Do you think now compared to when you started, do you think more about the future or less about it, in terms, I suppose, of personal profit?
No, this is definitely, I start to think about the future because of the resource called time, because I am not 20 anymore, and I know this. I have to be a little careful here. It's not that I'm stressed with the jobs, because I love what I'm doing, but nevertheless I have responsibilities. I have 60 employees, and beside this I have my family and my wife, and we have 3 boys, and the oldest one now is 12, and they want share time with me. They want to spend time with me, and I have to make this time, and this brings me sometimes a kind of a struggle. But the struggle is only because I'm then maybe not able enough to set the right priorities. So what's, for me, the future agenda means to me actually setting the right priorities, what comes first.
And this idea of future gazing, do you think has a particular resonance here in Belgrade?
What does future gazing mean?
I suppose looking towards the future and trying to map it or trying to guess maybe what it'll consist of. Do you think there's a particular reason why this question is being posed here at this conference in Belgrade? Or?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, this is the first time for me. I haven't been here before, and the nice thing actually was a nice coincidence that I was as well 2 days in Moscow. So I have been on 2 places, and they've had very more beat. So I can see, if I'm an architect, I can see, okay, the whole infrastructure can be remodeled. You can really, and we know this, architecture is something you build and it stays there, and some generations have to deal with that. So hopefully they make the right decisions. Hopefully it's interesting, it's cool, this is the most contemporary building we have in here, but I don't know how contemporary it is. For them, maybe it is. So they have to find their own way to deal with this. But I think the fact that it's posed here is very important because they just experience that it was completely destroyed, or parts of it was completely destroyed just a few years ago. They had war here. And I think it's great because for them, future means actually hope, what I imagine. And to give them some hope is just give them self-esteem, give them confidence to take on those decisions they have to make, to go on the streets like we experience right now in the whole Arabic world. People are fed up. This generation, since we have the ability to get the information what's going around the world, people understand they're fed up with this kind of dictatorship. You don't need this shit anymore because you have to deal with so many other things just within yourself. As Joseph Beuys said, I have to say this in German, ich bin eine Interessengruppe. I have more interests than just one. I'm not only one, I'm a group of me, so. And I think it's, for them, it's more than important. And I realize that we are already in the Western world, in Europe, that we are very blessed already. That we have, even if we start to complain, hello, bonjour, get a real taste of what it means.
Get some perspective on it. Exactly. Mike Meiré, thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah.